Hello everyone, and welcome once again to Caleb Likes Books. Today I have my monthly update for the end of the month of November 2025, coming up on the end of the year now, which is very exciting. I'm got a decent amount to talk about, several books that I have finished, a few that I didn't get to, unfortunately, that were on my November TBR, but still plenty that I did get to, and I had a pretty good reading month. I've enjoyed a lot of the stuff that I've been into this month. So to get right into it, I began the month by finishing up a handful of things that I had started in October. So I finished up Gunmetal Gods by Zamil Akhtar, which I did mostly on audiobook, even though I already own the ebook, but I was able to get the audiobook through my library. And I enjoyed this. It was one of those books that was kind of, I liked it in the beginning, but it kind of became a little more interesting as it went along. And I think the ending of it really kind of hooked me, made me very interested in reading book 2 eventually. So I do intend to continue the series. There was some cool stuff about it. It had some interesting plot elements and things like that, some cool world building. The characters didn't quite hook me, but otherwise I thought it was a pretty good time. Another thing that I finished up was the Fall of Cthulhu graphic novel. By Michael Allen Nelson, I think, if I'm remembering correctly. This was a graphic novel taking place within the Cthulhu mythos setting. That was pretty decent. I really loved a few parts of it. I think it was like a 6-part omnibus, and I think I really loved like 3 or 4 out of those 6 parts. And the others, are still cool, but just didn't quite hit the same way. But there was some good stuff in there, some fun connections to the Cthulhu mythos, some interesting storytelling going on, some really good artwork. It was pretty cool. It was a fun time, I think. I enjoyed it. And then I also finished up The Shining by Stephen King, which so far is probably one of my least favorite Stephen King books, but it was still very good. So, most everything that I've read of his so far, this was my 8th Stephen King book, and most of those have been fantastic. So, something being lower doesn't mean it's bad, it just wasn't amazing. So, and I apologize if my voice is a little weird or I'm sniffly. I've been recovering from a cold, but this was pretty good. I enjoyed it. Had some interesting character work, as King tends to. Some good horror elements, things like that. But, this was more like a ghost story type, like a haunting kind of story. And that, I think, is not so much my thing personally, so it's not as much something I'm interested in as other Stephen King books that deal with, you have something like Salem's Lot where it's vampires, or Pet Sematary with what's going on there, or different things like that. It just wasn't as much my thing, but it was still very well done. I still enjoyed it. But as far as other stuff that I checked out, one thing that I added onto my November TBR as far as an audiobook, which does tend to be where I tend to add on a lot more like mood reads and things like that, I checked out The Road by Cormac McCarthy, which I finished in a single day because the audiobook's quite short, and I listened to it at like 2.5 times speed. But I really enjoyed that a lot. Very strong sense of atmosphere, good character work. A very simple book, but one that had a lot of impact. One that I've heard a lot about over the last several years, so I was already interested in reading it for a long time. And I was looking through the audiobooks that I had available to me on Hoopla, and I saw that. I was like, hey, that's short. I can finish that in like a day or two. So I did that, and I really enjoyed it. As far as some other stuff, I did The Coward by Stephen Arion, the first book in his Quest for Heroes duology, which I really enjoyed. I think like the first half of the book was fantastic. I loved it. Second half was a little bit of a drop off for me, but it was still good. And then the ending was really good as well. Again, really good character work in there. A really interesting kind of concept behind it of like, this person who went off and did this great deed 10 years in the past is being called again to basically do the same thing over again, except he actually didn't really do it the first time. He kind of just lucked out. So it was a fun premise, a fun story, and I'll be interested to read the next book in the duology. I'm hoping to do that next month, but I'll have to think about that some more because I did not quite get to everything on my TBR this month, and with the holidays and other things going on, I don't know how much I'm going to get to read next month, so I may have to push that to January, but I'm hoping I'll still get to it in December. I also did The Elder Scrolls Lord of Souls on audiobook, the second book in that duology as well, which I think I liked better than the first one. The first one I was kind of like, not mixed on necessarily, but it just felt very average. Like it was a solid, like a 6 out of 10 kind of book. Like it was okay. I did like the second one a bit better because it had a lot more of the follow through. It was able to pay off a lot of the things that were set up in the first book. Some cool world building as usual for this duology. I really liked the way that it both implemented the Elder Scrolls world building as well as kind of doing its own thing. Some of the stuff that it added and all that kind of thing. You know, it was a pretty interesting plot as well. I do think this duology would have been better as one book though, and that is like my biggest criticism of it overall is the two individual books are fine, but together they're actually really cool and I really enjoyed them like as a duology. So I think it would have actually been much stronger if some stuff had been trimmed out of each book, which is kind of weird because they're both pretty short, but if you had cut out a little bit and then just made it one book, I think that might have worked out better, but it was still a decent book and a solid duology overall that I had a decent time with. I also did The Sunlit Man by Brandon Sanderson, which is the final novel within the Cosmere that I needed to finish up. So one thing that I am quite excited about actually coming in December, I actually have a full ranking of the Cosmere books coming in December now that I finished that, so you can be looking forward to that. That'll probably be coming out in the middle of the month, ranking all of the 18 prose novels of the Cosmere. But this was the last one I needed to read, and I really enjoyed it. I had a really good time with it. I went into it kind of with moderate expectations because I expected to like it because I like Sanderson's work in general, but I actually enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I would. I thought the world building was fantastic, super interesting, super unique. The character work was really good, had a really interesting storyline to it. And in general was actually kind of a surprise for me because, like, you know, I went into it expecting it to be good and it was actually like amazing, I thought. So I really enjoyed that one. That was a great book to kind of wrap up my catching up on the Cosmere with. I also did an indie read this month, which I'm doing a couple of anyway, but I did finish one indie read all the way through, which was The Whisper That Replaced God by Timothy Wolf, which is a novella, which was pretty good. I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the writing style of the first-person perspective. I tend to be like not as much preferring first person perspective as like third person or something like that, but one thing I do appreciate about it that was done very well in this novella was the sense of perspective and voice to the character, which was done really well, and was a pretty fun novella to read, and I'm interested in reading the second one. Again, kind of similar to the Stephen Arion duology. I'm hoping to read the second book in December if I have time. It's pretty short, so I'm sure that I will, but hopefully I'll get to that, and you know, I enjoyed this first one, so maybe I'll enjoy that one as well. And then the last thing that I finished this month is Batman Year One, the graphic novel, written by Frank Miller, which was my first ever Batman comic. I've been a fan of Batman kind of casually for years. I love the Christopher Nolan Dark Knight trilogy. I love a couple of the other movies that I've seen, or at least have seen them. I don't know that I necessarily would say I love them, because I saw Batman Returns as a kid. I saw Batman v Superman. I've even seen the Lego Batman movie, which is actually really good. And I also am a big fan of the Batman Arkham video game series. So I've been a fan of the character for a long time, but never dove into the comics. So this was my first try at that, and I really enjoyed it. I had a really good time with it. Very good introduction, kind of very much what I would expect from a Batman story, but still did some things that were a little interesting that I didn't quite expect. So really good introduction, I think, and I'll definitely be picking up some more Batman in the future. One other thing that I actually DNF'd this month was actually a book called The Grimmer. I DNF'd it about 40% into the book. This was an audiobook that on Hoopla, where I get my audiobooks through the library, at the end of each month they have what they call free borrows or extra borrows or something like that, where through your library you only have a set amount of borrows each month, so you can borrow up to X number of things. For me it's 7, so I can borrow 7 things a month. At the end of each month they have like extra stuff that you can borrow without using your monthly borrows. So this was one of those for the end of October. So I did pick this up just to try it, and you know, it was cool, but it didn't quite hook me enough to really feel like continuing. I kind of wanted to just move on to some other stuff. I think this is the point where I read The Road, so I did decide to go for that instead, but I still, you know, it was an interesting book, I guess. I'd recommend at least going and looking it up if it seems like something you might be interested in. It was kind of a YA horror kind of thing, so you know, it was all right, but you know, I never ended up finishing it. As far as other stuff that I'm currently reading, though, because I am currently reading some stuff that will probably take me into December, at least for some of it, I'm reading Bound by Blood by Sean Brink, which was an indie book that was sent to me several months ago. This is like I'm trying to think, like a Christian horror thriller or something. That's probably how I would describe it, at least at this point. I'm not super far into it. I think I'm maybe a quarter or a third of the way into it at the moment. But I'm having an okay time with it. I have some things about it that are like not quite working for me. I think some of the themes of it, you know, like I said, it's a Christian perspective, like from the writer and things like that. It's very that religious aspect plays a big part, which I'm fine with, but I feel like it's maybe a little heavy-handed at some points, and just the way that it's written is a little weird sometimes. But you know, there's some good stuff to it. I'm still, you know, having a decent time with it, so I will be trying to finish that up here sometime soon. I also just earlier today, as of recording this, started an audiobook for, I believe it's In the Coils of the Labyrinth, which is an Arkham horror novel. I wanted to do, I'm recording this on the Monday before this video goes up, so it's a few days early, but I wanted to get it done before Thanksgiving and everything. So I wanted to have an audiobook that I could listen to and finish before Thanksgiving, because I tend to listen to my audiobooks while I'm working, and I have Thanksgiving off. So I wanted to have something that I could read, you know, Monday to Wednesday. So I started that earlier today, and I will be finishing that over the next couple days. So by the time this video comes out, I'll have finished. But I'm enjoying that a lot so far. I'm about a third of the way through the audiobook at the moment and having a good time. I also am about a quarter of the way through at the moment The Pillars of the Earth by Ken Follett, which I am loving. Very, very good book. Like from the beginning, I've really enjoyed it. It's one of my most anticipated books that I was going to read this year, and so I'm very happy to say that. So hopefully I will continue to enjoy that all the way through. Like I said, I'm only a quarter of the way through it, but that's like 250 pages because it's a big book. But I'm having a really good time with that so far, so I will be looking forward to finishing that. So that's all the stuff that I read. Lots of good stuff, lots of stuff that I really enjoyed, and I'm currently enjoying the stuff. Like, I'm loving Pillars of the Earth, and I'm really enjoying the audiobook as well. Bound by Blood is kind of cool. So lots of cool stuff going on. Don't know how much more I'm going to read through the rest of this week with the holiday and everything, but I did get to less than I hoped I would this month. I did have a few other things I was planning to read, like I was going to do God Emperor of Dune and the second Star Wars Dark Nest book and things like that, which I might try to do at least Dark Nest in December, because I've been putting that off for way too long. But I didn't have enough time to get to those this month, as well as one or two other things, I think, because some real life stuff has happened this month that has, you know, interfered with my reading time. I haven't had as much time to dedicate to that as I otherwise normally would. But you know, I've still gotten a decent amount of reading done. Obviously, this month I've gotten through quite a few things, so still going well. It's just I didn't have as much time as I thought that I would, so some stuff has kind of got pushed back to the wayside, but I'll try to pick up one or two of those things here in December towards the end of the month, which itself will probably be kind of a chaotic month with Christmas and everything going on, but hopefully I can still get a decent amount in. So that's pretty much it for all of that. And then as far as book haul stuff is concerned, I did get my hands on quite a few books this month, most of which were sent to me, although one of them I did by myself. So first of all, I had several books sent to me by my friend Ryan, who's awesome, and he sent me a package of books earlier this year as well, and he sent me another one recently, so I did get several books from him as well. He sent me the first 4 books of the Legend of Driss series, which was super awesome. I've been wanting to read that series for a long time, so now I have the first trilogy as well as the first book in the second trilogy or tetralogy or however much it is. I can't actually remember, but I have the first 4 books in the series, so that's really awesome. Looking forward to that. He also sent me I'm Afraid You've Got Dragons, which is, as far as I know, is a standalone, and he said that his wife had read it, had a really good time with it, so hopefully I'll have a good time with that as well. Don't know much about it, but I've heard it mentioned here and there before. And then he also sent me The Bone Shard Daughter, which is a book that I have heard of before, but I don't know much about, so something kind of that I don't really know about that is kind of exciting to check out. He also sent me Trial of Intentions by Peter Aurelian, which is the second book in a duology, I believe. And I can actually get both of these books in this duology on Hoopla as audiobooks, so I can still check it out. But I've heard good things about that author before. I've never heard of this book though, so I'll be curious to check that out. And finally, he also sent me The Will of the Many by James Islington. I have one of the books in his trilogy, the Licanius trilogy, and and I've heard amazing things about Will of the Many, and the second book in that series just came out and is doing super well, which is really fun. I'm really happy for him to see him doing so well. But I've been looking forward to reading this book for a while because I've heard so many good things about it. So huge thanks to Ryan for sending all those books my way. I appreciate it a bunch. Just super awesome, and very thankful. I also was sent another book, which I've already actually read and reviewed on the channel, but I did receive a physical copy of The Sapphire Heart by Three Scribes in the mail as well. I was part of their advanced copies team. I got to read the book a little early, and I posted my review for that on its release day as well, so you can go check that out if you're interested. But they reached out to me, I think like a month ago, and asked if I wanted to have a physical copy as well. So they sent that to me, signed it and all that kind of stuff, sent me a bookmark, a few other little goodies. So huge thanks to them. It's a gorgeous book. It's got a great cover by Jeff Brown, who does great covers in general. And this is maybe one of my favorite of his covers. I think it's fantastic. So I'm very happy to have that. I think it's going to look very nice alongside all my other books. And speaking of Jeff Brown, I got another book that he did a cover for this month. This is the one that I bought myself. I got The Blackfire Blade by James Logan, which is the second book in his Lost Legacy series. I read the first book, The Silverbread Promise, I think about a year ago now, because it came out last year at some point, and I loved it. And I, when I read that, I was like, I need to pick up book 2, like when it comes out. So I did get this month. It came out just early in November, so I got it like a week or two later. And so I'm hoping, again, that I can read this in December. Don't know if I will, but I'm hoping that I can because I really, really want to get to it. And I love the first one, so hopefully I'll love this one as well. So those are the stuff that I got. As far as other things are concerned, the channel's going pretty good. We are currently sitting around 1,070 subscribers, which is really cool. Very, things are still going well, still growing well, all that kind of thing. Lots of fun videos that I've got planned. I'm in the stages of planning out my end of the year lists as far as favorite books and things like that. Let me know in the comments what you actually want to see for that, because I already have like a tentative top 10 books of the year list planned out, but I'm curious if you guys also want to see like maybe least favorites of the year or any other kind of end of the year type videos, anything that you would like to see. Let me know down in the comments so I can keep those in mind and maybe put together some of those as well. I am at the very least going to be doing a top 10 favorites of the year list though, which was easier to put together than I thought. I'll have to think about it some more just to make sure I'm happy with it, but it was actually pretty easy to put together, which I was surprised by. But like I said, I also have that Cosmere ranking coming out kind of in the middle of the month, which I'm super happy with, super excited. I've been wanting to do that for a long time and now I finally could, so that's really cool. I also want to mention something else really quick that's not related to this channel, but some of you may still be interested in, over on my other channel, which is called Caleb Likes Metal, where I talk about metal music because that is another big interest of mine. I released a video this month about the band Red, which is a rock band that I've loved for many years. I did a series, a video in the series called Discog Dive, where I talk about all the music the band released all in one video. I know that some people in my audience that I've spoken to before are big fans of this band as well, so I thought I'd mention that in case any of you are interested, or if you're interested in that channel, you can go check it out. Just thought I'd put that out there because I think some of you out there, at least a few would still be interested in that. That's pretty much all I got for you. So if you have read any of the books that I talked about in this video, whether the ones that I read or the ones that I bought or whatever, or received, then let me know what you thought of them down in the comments. If you read anything cool or got anything cool during the month of November, let me know that in the comments as well. Yeah, for those of you who are also in the US like myself, this video is coming out on Friday, so I hope you all had a wonderful Thanksgiving holiday and all of that kind of thing if you are celebrating it like I am. So that is pretty much it for this one. So thank you all for watching, and I will see you all next time.